All right, so yeah, we're talking about Gotham Knights. I've been playing it on PS5. I am definitely loving how much fun I'm having playing this game. That being said, I want to talk about the things that are the positive parts of this game, the pros that I love about this game. Um, I love the fact that we get to play as not Batman, but all the other characters that we loved to see growing up, either in movies, cartoons, or in other games. But yeah, anyway, this is I love this game because you get to play as Dick Grayson, as Jason Todd, as Barbara Gordon, as Tim Drake, and you get to explore their own personal stories as they're dealing with the loss of Bruce Wayne and Batman and Jim Gordon, as well as Gotham City falling apart because Joker's gone, who was like the king big bad, and now everyone's trying to rule for power. Another thing that I really love about this game is the character development of not just the main heroes, our Gotham Knights, but of the side characters and the villains that are in this game. Something else I love about this game is just how good it looks. All the different textures of the metals, the floors, the caves, the wetness, the textures of the costumes and outfits when you zoom in, knowing that seeing that this is something is metal or fabric or leather. It's just it looks great, and there's so many different times where I've taken screenshots or just stopped and just paused and looked at everything that I'm just seeing on screen. One of the things that I can definitely say that I love specifically about this game is the fact that when you do missions and it tells you what the loot is for that mission, it tells you explicitly what kind of loot you're getting. A lot of times in these loot grindy games, Destiny or Avengers or Division, anything like that. When you do missions and it says that your reward is armor up to a purple, blue, gold, or it's an item with a question mark or a box up to this. This tells you explicitly you're going to get a blue item, a purple, gold, whatever, and not only that, it tells you what kind of item. It'll tell you if it's a armor item, it'll tell you if it's a melee weapon, it'll tell you if it's a ranged weapon. You don't have to say, "Oh, I might get one of these." This tells you exactly what you're getting, which means you can cherry pick what missions you want. You can only do the missions where you are looking for the items you want, go back to the base, and the next time you go out again, you get a bunch of new missions. Some of the negatives I want to talk about is it felt like I wasn't able to really fully control my character. There's a lot of times where you have to go up to a certain space in a wall or face a person or NPC directly, and your character has to be directly in front of that object or person, facing them head on, or the X button or the interact button doesn't work. And if you slightly turn after that, it has to start over. And that's really annoying because it happens pretty frequently. I've seen a lot of complaints about the combat. I don't really have a complaint about the combat. There's a lot of variety. A lot of people are talking about how it feels very, repetitive. But then they also talk about how different it is fighting as each character. So to me, that's just very contradictory. It is very much each character plays differently. They just have to do certain things because some of the enemies react specifically to certain things. You kind of have to expect that when you're playing this type of game. Um, Another complaint that I have is that while the missions aren't all the same, there are a lot of repetitive missions, and there can be times where you can have the same exact missions for multiple nights in a row, and it can be tedious. But because it's still pretty early on in the game, I'm probably maybe like 40 hours in total. Uh, you can always approach those missions differently, especially if you're doing it as different characters, or maybe you want to approach it head on, or maybe you want to do it silently, or maybe you want to see if you can do it within a certain time. All that kind of stuff you can do based on the different level of difficulties of these missions. Because while these missions might be the same, when they're different difficulties, they have different types of traps, different types of enemies, all that kind of stuff. So I feel like once again, for these types of games, Gotham Knight does a pretty good job at adding variety to these grinding level type missions. Because in Avengers, it's the exact same mission with the exact same types of enemies every single time, and it's very repetitive, very fast. This is not that way. On top of that, you can do it with every new costume that you earn or every new weapon, and they all have different types of attacks for it. It's to me, it's a lot more varied than a lot of other games that are out there that have the same type of category that this game is in. So that's kind of my review on Gotham Knights. Out of 10 stars, I would give it a solid 8.5 out of 10 because while I very, very much enjoyed it, I love the characters and I enjoyed playing it. The story was kind of predictable. The dangers didn't feel very dangerous, and it wasn't as long of a game as I hoped it was. I hope you guys check it out. If you guys were playing on PS5, I will be down to play with you.